let's get to football. Big game coming up on Sunday, right?
Yeah,
we got
a couple of them.
Well, Kansas City and San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's a big game. People want to see what's happening there, and we know the Chiefs are undefeated. Haven't looked good doing it, but here's a big game and an opportunity. But I want to talk about Kyle Shanahan because I do have a problem with Kyle Shanahan. As much winning as he's done, he's been to the Super Bowl a couple times. I think he's the most overrated coach in the NFL. And when it comes to big games and big moments, he wilts, he melts down. And then here's a stat that just is telling. Against the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills, he's 0-7. What was that, a home run? Dodgers are back in the game.
Okay.
10-5. It's still a lot of time. All right. 10-5. It was a 3-run home run, I think, so it's 10-5. But my point is 0-7.
0-7, yeah, that ain't good.
That ain't good against those teams. And then when you go into think about this, and this is why I'm going to say that, okay? Historically, there have been 7 teams that give up 10-plus point leads in Super Bowls. Guess what?
What's that?
Shanahan has lost 3 of those games as either the head coach or OC. And between the 3 Super Bowls, Shanahan teams have been outscored a combined, you ready? 58-12 in the fourth quarter and in overtime. And this is where he easily could have had a Super Bowl as the OC with the Falcons. You remember that choke job?
Oh,
they were up
28-3.
And they had a chance to kick a field goal and to put an 11-point lead on Tom Brady. And instead, he still was calling passing plays, and they got a sack and a hold and fell out of field goal range. And then, as I said to you, in his NFL head coaching career, Shanahan 0-7 against the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens, with the average margin of defeat being over 10 points. And in those games, Shanahan's turnover differential is a -7. So, beat up on the bad teams, which is what you want to do, but you should have a better record against some of the better teams. And that's a telling stat, 0-7 against the three really good teams in the NFL.
So there's no denying the stat you just made. The only couple of things I would like to add to give a little more context is in order to have some of these losses that sting, you do got to get there, and I'll give him credit. I mean, obviously he wasn't the head coach with the Falcons, but he was the offensive coordinator, had those boys buzzing. Matt Ryan, MVP candidate. And then they obviously get to the Super Bowl rolling in the first half, right? So I'll give him credit for that. And all he's done so far in Kansas with San Francisco is get to NFC Championship games or get to Super Bowls. So there's no denying that he may overthink. He may get nervous in the biggest of games. I'll give you that. I'm not going to sit up here and try to be his public defender in that regard. The only thing I will say again is just that he keeps giving himself and his team a chance to get there. And for that, with him being so young, if I'm an owner or general manager, I'll take it. I keep knocking at the door. I'm going to get that thing down. And one of the things I look at, so it reminds me of Andy Reid. Andy Reid, brilliant coach. Obviously was young at the time, doing a lot of great things with the Eagles, and everybody loved him, kind of a scientist, if you will. But then he couldn't get the big one, right? He gets the NFC Championship game 5 times, goes 1-4 in the NFC Championship game, gets to that Super Bowl, loses in a really like an all-time classic game with the Patriots, and loses with the Eagles on that last drive. Donovan McNabb couldn't hold up. But Andy Reid was like, he just can't win the big one. Then he was able to finally break through, crack the code, and win some big ones. And now we almost feel like he can't not win the big one. So to me, I'm riding this out. If I'm ownership, if I'm John Lynch, I got a young guy who's offensively creative. The guys love him. They rally around him. We win. We do nothing but win, and we keep getting there. I'm going to keep knocking at that door till we crack that mug open, and that's how I like it. So I totally get your point. But I'm going to take that over some other guys who haven't produced anything, who may be bigger names, but haven't been able to do half or 1/3 of what he's done.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to understand some guys can't get you over the hump. Marv Levy went to 4 straight Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills. I'm sure they said, hey, well, he'll get there eventually. I could go on and on. There are a lot of coaches who have had opportunities. It's not automatic. I remember
Marv Levy was 102 years old.
I don't care. He went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
And I'm not. What I'm saying is Kyle Shanahan's too young. Kyle Shanahan's too young for me to give up on.
I'll give you one. The Pistons had Rick Carlisle early on in his coaching career.
Why did they get rid of him?
Larry Brown became available. Guess who? The 2004 Pistons with Larry Brown beat the Lakers. All I'm saying is that at some point, I'm not saying that he can't coach, but maybe he can't get you where you need to go. And if you think time isn't ticking, you're wrong, because as soon as you start having to pay these players, you start losing people, and the nucleus and what you have that you had put together all of a sudden starts to go away. It's not an infinite window. And the one thing that even when you talk about Andy Reid, when Andy Reid first got to Kansas City and Alex Smith was there, go look. They were losing home playoff games. They didn't win right away when he went to Kansas City. He got Patrick Mahomes and things turned around for Andy Reid.
No, that's real. That's real.
I'm just saying, Andy Reid didn't win just because he changed places or whatever. He wound up getting an all-time great quarterback.
But I would counter that, Rob. Well, Rob, I'm no, without a doubt, and we know having any player here. If you're Phil Jackson and I got Jordan, hey, yes, I'm a great coach, but dang it, that helps. I'm Phil Jackson and I got Kobe and Shaq. Dang it, that helps. So I'll go back to what you said about Rick Carlisle. But a good coach is a good coach, because what did Rick Carlisle do? Pistons let him go. He went to Indiana. Had it not been for a malice of the palace, he might have won there. Then he goes to Dallas. What does he do? Get a ring. So Pistons let him go. They got one ring.
Yeah, but
Rick Carlisle left and got a ring with Dirk and the Dallas Mavericks.
But these numbers here on all-time bad is what I'm saying. Being outscored 58-12 when you're supposedly an offensive guru, and these are in fourth quarter and overtime. So this is a pattern. This is not one or two bad games. This continues to happen to him.
You like doing that, and I hear you.
And he
but
also
who are you
is
getting?
choked down temp. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
who is out there? I guess what I'm saying is
I
can't just let a guy go to just get anybody. Like, I got to be letting him go because.
Why not?
Why? Because the whole goal would be to upgride.
No,
I'm not letting him go
you
just
don't
to get
know that.
anybody.
When the Dallas Cowboys got rid of Tom Landry and got Jimmy Johnson, they just said, this is done here. They had won. The Cowboys had won with Tom Landry.
And he was old and ran it and ran.
They got rid of him. They still could have. Well, Jimmy Johnson, I don't know if he's going to win a Super Bowl. All I'm saying, he was a college coach. They gave him a chance, and guess what he did? He turned it into a dynasty.
Then that's my point. So if you're saying I'm letting go of Kyle Shanahan because I'm going to get the Nick Saban, then okay, I had a bunch of success in college. I'm just using him as somebody. It doesn't have to be Nick Saban. Or Jim Harbaugh.
Be another guy who can get you over the hump. I don't know how long you're going to wait with Shanahan.
Well, I got Brock Purdy, and I ain't going nowhere as long as I got him and a couple of these players, because you keep sleeping on Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy has been nothing but good to great.
What championship has Brock Purdy won?
I don't know. He's in his second year.
Okay.
Second and a half year.
All right.
Second and a half year. Let the man play.
Did they go to the Super Bowl without Brock Purdy?
Yes, and they went with him. What's your point?
I just said
I don't
know if it's like the system or not, and don't tell me it's this whole it's because he's Mr. Irrelevant. That's not the case.
No, bro. All I know is he goes from Mr. Irrelevant, which doesn't matter in this case because he goes to NFC championships and Super Bowls. What? I don't understand where you have issues with that. Like, I get if like Mike McCarthy, we're winning a bunch of games and we're not doing anything. Why would I want to get rid of the quarterback who does nothing but go to NFC Championship?
Nobody said get rid of him. I'm just saying it ain't an automatic. The longer you waste this time and talent could cost you, and that's what I'm saying when you have a coach who continues not to get it done. All right, 877-99 on Fox. 877-996-6369. And it's real. The question to you is about Kyle Shanahan and whether or not you think he can get the job done. Has he blown these games and these moments? I mean, not too many guys get to be in the Super Bowls or have 10-point leads, and a lot of it is his coaching where he stops running the football and decides to throw late in games, which slows down the game, stops the clock, and gives people an opportunity to come back. That's been his biggest criticism.